What's my worst landlord story? I actually have really chill landlords. I actually have really, really chill landlords. I've said this before. I pay $60 a week for rent.
Wow.
There's no like broker or anything. It just, I pay my money directly to my landlords. My landlords are hippies who kind of live off the grid a little bit. The house has solar panels. The house has a veggie patch. 60 US? No, 60 Australian. The house has, you know, solar panels, it has veggie patches, it has water tanks. It's somewhat self-sufficient. The house is also, you know, it has all these bells and whistles that allows it to be relatively low maintenance. And then basically, you know, or not necessarily fully self-sufficient. They didn't go that far, but they did a decent job. And then the house is pretty cool. But I think they just downsized because it was like their family home. So my understanding is, I've never asked, but my understanding is that my hippie landlords basically got old and their kids moved out and they don't need to have the house. They don't need a big house anymore. So they downsized and moved to, they moved to a bigger city, which is kind of weird for hippies, I guess. But I guess they just wanted to be like closer to their family that moved out. But yeah, they just, you know, every so often they'll come around and just be like, hey guys, we're coming around to, I don't know, do stuff. One sec, what is Lottie doing? Sorry, I just heard scratching, so I wasn't sure if she was doing something. Yeah, I've got the hippie landlords moved out and they just put their house up for rent, I guess. But it's all kind of under the table because they don't like, you know, I don't know, regular landlord stuff. So there's no like real estate brokers or anything involved, which is nice. Not having to deal with them. And they're just chill. They're super chill. My landlords are super duper chill. And like they have very few things that they don't like. Like I asked to put some stuff up on the wall for like soundproofing my room, and they were like, we don't really want that. And I was like, fair enough. Okay, I won't do that. But then Firefighter Roomie asked about getting a battery and more solar panels installed on the house so it can actually run almost off the grid. And they were like, yeah, go for it. So yeah. It's pretty chill. Landlords, sometimes they come around and they're like, hey, we just want to check on the veg patch. So they do that. Like, they relatively low maintenance landlords, haven't really had any problems with them. You know, I'm paying dirt cheap for the place that I live in. My roommates are pretty chill. They pay a bit more than me because they have the big rooms and they also have the ensuite. But yeah, it's pretty chill. I get along with my roomies. I get along with my landlords. Yeah, 60 AUD. Let's see how much I pay yearly. 60 times 52. I pay 3,120 Australian dollars a year for my rent. That's pretty good. You assume rent that cheap means someone died in the house? No. I mean, maybe.
Bruh.
Maybe, but I don't know. You don't pay monthly? No, I pay weekly. I pay weekly. Either that or you're renting from friends. Yeah, it's kind of like mates rates, I guess. But they're just like super duper chill. It was 50 a week. But during the inflation, my landlord was like, hey guys, sorry to do this to you. Can you pay $10 extra for your rent? And I was like, oh man, going from $50 to $60, I don't know if I can afford that. And I said, yes, of course I'll do that. Yes, of course I'll do that. I will pay an extra $10 a month to keep living here because the alternative is saying no and then having to pay instead of $50 a week, paying $250 a week. Do they let you pay in advance? Nah, they're just like, I think they're retired. I think they're retired hippies, so they don't have like income anymore. So they've got their pensions. And I think they just use it, like, my payment as like their weekly expenses, like for groceries and stuff. And that was basically the reason they said that rent went up, was just like, hey, groceries are more expensive now. How much do they earn? They're retired. So they're on the pension. I think. I would assume. Oh, not pension, sorry. Superannuation. It's the same thing. I think. I'm pretty sure a pension and a superannuation are the same thing.